This day in time. What happened today, years ago?
Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take your sources, maybe articles, research, even just notes, and we really dig in.
Yeah, try to find those surprising links, those insights that maybe aren't obvious at first glance.
Exactly, make you instantly well-informed. And today, our mission, well, it's focusing on just one date, July 2nd.
Seems pretty ordinary.
Right, but you're about to find out how this single day really quietly shaped history across centuries, different continents. It's quite something.
And it really is fascinating when you focus like that on a specific date. It lets you see these echoes across time.
Echoes, how so?
Well, you take events that seem totally unrelated from completely different eras, but suddenly you see these common threads popping up. Themes like freedom or ambition, that human spirit.
And our source material today reflects that.
Oh, definitely. It's really diverse. We've got everything from, foundational legal documents to, well, a famous disappearance and even a historic uprising at sea, all on July 2nd.
Okay, so it sounds like quite a journey. We're diving into 3 distinct July 2nd moments.
Each with an incredible story.
Yeah, filled with surprising details, I bet. And looking at the impact they left behind, it might just shift how you think about things.
Let's get into it.
Okay, let's kick things off. We're going back to the middle of a revolution.
Right.
Picture it. The North American colonies, they're deep in this brutal war with Great Britain, fighting for their future, really.
And this is key. There's no official declaration yet, no legal break.
Oh, exactly. So the Second Continental Congress is meeting, Philadelphia, and they're grappling with this huge question, what now? Where do we go from here?
And this brings us right to July 2nd, 1776. This becomes the pivotal day, really.
Because of the resolution?
Precisely. Richard Henry Lee of Virginia, he stands up. He puts forward this resolution, and it states very clearly that the United Colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states.
Wow. Pretty direct.
Absolutely. And after, some intense debate, Congress adopts it. Officially. On that day, July 2nd.
So this wasn't just talk.
No, this is the legal act, the foundation stone. It was the official move that severed ties with Britain and, crucially, gave legal justification for the war that was already happening.
You know what really jumped out at me when I was looking into this was John Adams.
Ah, yes, Adams.
His belief, his strong insistence, actually, that July 2nd should be the day America celebrates independence.
Not July 4th.
Right, because July 2nd was when the legal act, the actual resolution, was adopted. It kind of makes you rethink the whole 4th of July thing, doesn't it?
It really does. And the fascinating thing here, it's not just that they declared independence, but this often forgotten detail.
That the legal step came first.
Exactly. The official legal separation happened before the big public announcement, the declaration we all know from July 4th. Adams's view gives you this deeper layer, a nuance to the nation's founding, maybe a bit more pragmatic than we usually think.
Less fireworks, more paperwork initially.
Sort of. It highlights the importance of getting that legal groundwork right first. Figures like Lee and Adams, they were focused on that crucial step.
Okay, so from nation building, let's shift gears completely to a different kind of boundary pushing, the skies. The vast unknown.
The golden age of aviation.
Exactly. Fast forward to July 2nd, 1937, and we have Amelia Earhart. Already a global icon, right?
A legend.
Yeah.
And she's on this incredibly ambitious round-the-world flight.
And July 2nd marks this critical leg. Tragic, as it turned out.
Yeah, the Pacific crossing. She and her navigator, Fred Noonan, they take off from Leyte, New Guinea.
Heading for
Howland Island. Tiny little spot in the middle of nowhere. Really, really hard to find, especially back then.
And the communication, it just faded.
Became patchy, then stopped altogether. They never made it to Howland Island. They just vanished.
Without a trace. And that's the mystery, isn't it? It gripped the world then.
And it still does. It's
Yeah.
one of history's great unsolved puzzles. What actually happened out there in the Pacific?
So many theories.
Oh, countless theories. Crashing at sea, landing on some other island, maybe even capture, but nothing proven.
Just vanished.
Yeah. And if you connect this disappearance on July 2nd to the bigger picture, it's more than just an unsolved case.
What do you mean?
Well, it sort of represents that courage, the spirit of exploration. pushing human limits.
But also the risks.
Exactly. A really poignant reminder of the dangers involved, especially in pioneering aviation back then. The technology was still, well, it was still developing.
Near Helland Island. That was the last they knew.
Their last known position, yes, just adds to the enigma.
Yes. Now let's turn again. A different kind of struggle entirely.
A fight for personal freedom.
Yes. And this takes us back further in time to July 2nd, 1839. The context here is crucial. The transatlantic slave trade, officially banned by many countries, right?
Yes, banned, but tragically, it was still going on illegally. A horrific reality.
And it's in this dark context that a group of Mende people from Africa were kidnapped
Abducted.
and forced onto a Spanish ship, La Amistad. But they didn't just accept their fate.
Not at all. This is where their incredible courage shines through. On July 2nd, off the coast of Cuba, led by Sengbe Pie, who Americans called Joseph Cinque, they rose up.
A rebellion on the ship.
A dramatic one. They killed the captain, some of the crew. They took control of the vessel. Imagine that moment.
The demand.
Simple, profound. Return us to Africa.
But they were tricked.
Yes. The surviving Spanish crew members deceived them about the course. Instead of sailing east, back home.
They sailed north, along the U.S. coast.
Exactly, which ultimately brought the ship and their fight into the American legal system.
Right, and this rebellion, this fight for their own freedom, it leads to a huge legal battle.
All the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, a landmark case.
What was the core issue for the court?
The court had to decide their status. Were they property, or were they free people who had been illegally captured?
And the ruling?
The ruling was profound. The Supreme Court declared that they were free individuals. They had been illegally trafficked, kidnapped, and therefore...
they had the right to fight for their freedom.
Precisely. They had the right to resist enslavement. It was a stunning affirmation of their humanity and their rights.
The impact must have been huge.
Oh, enormous. It threw a harsh spotlight on the brutality of the illegal slave trade. And it gave a massive boost to the abolitionist movement in the U.S. Real momentum.
It really makes you think about the power and the responsibility of the legal system in these human rights issues, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Even when facing powerful interests, the potential for justice is there.
And there's that amazing detail about John Quincy Adams.
Ah, yes. Former president.
Stepping back into the courtroom at 73 years old.
To argue their case before the Supreme Court. He delivered this incredibly powerful, eloquent speech defending their freedom. Just imagine being there.
Incredible. And the end of the story for the Amistad Africans.
It's one of triumphs, ultimately. After the ruling, funds were raised, and the survivors, they finally returned home to Africa.
A testament to their resilience.
Absolutely. Their refusal to give up, their fight for liberty against incredible odds.
So, stepping back now, what does this all mean for you listening?
We've journeyed through 3 very different July 2nds.
Yeah, 1776, the legal declaration, almost overlooked, of a nation's freedom.
Then 1937, Amelia Earhart, that fearless drive for exploration, ending in this enduring mystery.
And 1839, the Amistad, an incredibly brave fight for individual liberty against brutal oppression.
3 events, centuries apart, different continents, different struggles.
But all on July 2nd. It's amazing, isn't it, how one ordinary date can hold such diverse and powerful human stories, each showing a different facet of our spirit.
It really is. And you see the lasting impact, right? Whether it's a legal precedent that shaped a nation,
Or the symbolic inspiration of pushing boundaries.
or those enduring questions about freedom and justice that the Amistad case raises.
They all offer these unique windows into human resilience, the different ways people pursue freedom. National freedom, freedom to explore, personal freedom.
Exactly. It shows how history isn't just big, sweeping movements. Sometimes focusing on a single day reveals so much.
Which leaves us with a thought, maybe for you to ponder. What other dates on the calendar, dates we think of as just ordinary? What rich stories, what overlooked moments of history might they hold? Just waiting for someone to take a closer look.
A fascinating question. There's always more to uncover.
Indeed. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more history daily.